So I've been playing a game recently that's been consuming my life, and no, it's probably not the one you're thinking of, but it is, however, the perfect blend of a true open world RPG that combines so many aspects of other games that I enjoy playing in this neat package, so it's a no-brainer that this became appealing to me. This video is sponsored by Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon. Now recently, I've been playing a lot of this game before even the most recent update and game-changing patch that has just come out, and the thing is, I mentioned it's got a bunch of elements in its own formula from other games that I like. It's very akin to Skyrim in terms of its more open world, its interconnected quests, its factions, its style, and everything like that as far as like combat goes and whatnot. And it also combines a lot of what I like about games like Dark Souls with its character upgrading, its RPG mechanics, the way that builds, take into account. Experimenting with all different kinds of weapons, spells, and abilities gave me so much replay value, and that was before this newest update. And so I've been enjoying the absolute hell out of this game, and it's been consuming all of my time recently. Now, just so we're on the same page, the way this game works is you have this giant open world at your hands, and the Fall of Avalon, you basically play through a series of about 15 chapters in which you complete quests, learn about the world, and go over the entire open world itself, and even including inside of dungeons or asylums and other secret areas that will illustrate the world in front of you. This game is developed by Questline. It's a team of around 40 full-time devs working on this game to bring the most full and complete RPG experience possible. What's really cool is that the title Tainted Grail may ring some bells for a few of you, because this wasn't actually a video game from the start. Tainted Grail started as a board game, matter of fact, and it was one of the biggest Kickstarter projects in 2018 to then turn this into a video game. It's got one of the most popular Polish fantasy writers that is in charge of the world and story, Krzysztof Pisorski, and it is still to this date one of the most popular and best-selling board games of all time. And as I mentioned, I was playing a lot of this game before this most recent patch came out. I was getting my weapons, I was building up my character and completing quests and so on and exploring the world, and then the new patch came out and changed literally everything within the game. It took them about 6 months to overhaul nearly every system from the ground up entirely, and playing the brand new patch completely shocked me how different it actually was. And a lot of the quality of life things that maybe I had a bit of a problem with or an issue in the old patch have been completely ironed out in this new one. Performance is better, the UI is better, it's a lot smoother of an experience. Everything is so much more responsive. Like, for example, trying to get, healing items into your quick slot or even just cooking things up really quickly is not this long and arbitrary process now that is very time consuming. It's quick, it's snappy, you can do what you want to do. There are a few changes, for example, like when using a healing item before, it would immediately grant you that HP, and that is the case sometimes, but on occasion, especially with food, it heals over time now, so you actually have to plan accordingly for that. You don't get all of that HP back immediately, stuff like that. And while it was really good and passable before, the combat has been made so much better in this most recent update. It's very responsive, it's fluid, there's a very good system with parrying and like stamina draining and all that stuff. It feels very good to engage with, and I think the combat was probably one of the biggest improvements in this latest update. As compared to the previous patch, the thing I was caught off guard and noticed immediately was there's actually a brand new thieving system, and this fundamentally changes the way that you're going to pick up items throughout the world, because in before, you could pretty much take anything you wanted out of boxes and crates without really anybody caring. However, if it is like belonged to somebody now, or if it's part of a camp and there's people guarding it, if you take items out of that, they're going to attack you, and they're either going to put you in jail or try to kill you. So you have to be careful about how you go about stuff like that. It very much caters towards a ton of unique playstyles, and I think the weapons complement that brilliantly. There's also a lot of crafting and alchemy stuff you can do if that suits your fancy, if you want to go for more of like a sorcerer build or something like that. But there's also cooking, mining, and something very much improved. The cooking system is excellent now. You can like throw a bunch of random ingredients into a pot if you just want to make a bunch of like effective healing items instead of just eating raw materials to get HP back. And again, it's not this process where you need to know specific recipes. You can kind of just throw stuff in a cooking pot wherever you see fit, and then you're good to go, as that's really your intention anyways. And also, a brand new system is lockpicking, and surprisingly works really well in this game. There's different chests that have varying difficulties of, how tough the lockpick actually is, and you're able to either make lockpicks yourself or loot them throughout the world, and you can use these on either real doors like within the castle, or you can just try to open chests to get good loot. And I think this combined with the thievery system is like bread and and butter, man. It's so good. Stealth is also now a much more important attribute than it was before. It's a lot more viable. All of your character's attributes in terms of their strength or their agility or whatever, they all have, they affect your base stats, but you can also improve these and upgrade these by simply interacting with the world. You can improve your athleticism and your agility just by kind of exploring the world and, going throughout Avalon. You're going to upgrade those things very naturally. Besides this massive patch overhauling the UI and making everything a lot more clean and friendly to interact with, there's also a bunch of items and weapons, especially within the castle, that are in different places than I remember them being, or sometimes items are just straight up replaced. Not even in a bad way. I think it's for the overall balance and health of the game. I just remember getting certain weapons before that, were no longer available, but this encouraged me to experiment with different kinds of builds and other weapons that I hadn't previously considered before, whether you're looting them throughout the world by killing enemies or purchasing them inside the castle itself. As I was playing on the new patch, I was getting very distracted and caught up in exploring all of the new dungeons that had been added, because there were areas of the game that were previously inaccessible or either, didn't really do anything, and now they were these completely explorable dungeons with their own rewards and, bosses to fight in there and so on. So I got very much caught up in the side content too, and if that is something that really suits your fancy, if you like doing side quests or, things apart from the main quest that will take you on weird, unexpected journeys, I think this game is actually perfect for that. I did want to point out as well how much better the fast traveling system works in Avalon now as well, because before, while it did have function, it was a little bit clunky to use, but now in this new patch, it's significantly more streamlined, it's very nuanced, and I think makes getting around this map an actual doable thing, because the map is huge, and I don't think you really quite understand the scale of it until you have to walk it all by foot. The first time I was playing, I wasn't really using the fast travels a whole lot, namely because I didn't really like engaging with the clunkier system, but also I just wanted to explore the world. But now that I'm able to explore the world a bit more freely and I can use the fast travel system, it's kind of the best of both worlds right there. Now I don't have to really, be stuck just wandering empty space. I can go to exactly where I need to if I'm doing a quest, or if I'm doing a main quest, or if I just want to go explore and find some dungeons or talk to NPCs, you can do that too and take it a bit more slow. I think it's very conducive to any kind of play you want to approach it with. I think some of the key takeaways of this overhaul are, first and foremost, the graphical fidelity has just become so much better. The entire visuals of the game have been, sort of rebuilt from the ground up, and I think it very much serves what this game is going for. That and the way that dungeons have been redesigned so that other playstyles are more viable. You can really tell the AI is a lot better. The combat is much more responsive. You can now viably dual-wield weapons as a playstyle if you really want to, or you can just stealth and theft everything. There's even a brand new fishing system that's been added. From the first time I played this, it's been completely redesigned. It's essentially a brand new game now, and if you've never tried it before, then I think now is a great time to start. And if you have played it before, this new patch actually allows you to skip the intro tutorial bit, so you don't have to essentially relearn the game and get on the rails again. You can jump right into the open world and sort of pick back up where you left off. I think that's an amazing compromise, and I'm very happy they did that. It's a great quality of life thing. This game's got a lot of heart and soul, man, and you can really tell when you play it. And the best thing is, it's not just available on Steam. Currently, it is out in early access on Steam, but it will be fully released in 2024 on PC. And then that followed by PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. So it will be coming out on virtually every platform very soon. So if you've been looking for an RPG and been itching for something that really captures that itch, that has these open world RPG mechanics, that has a deep and dark and twisted story, and all of that kind of stuff, that has a lot of exploration and questing, I think this game is really going to do it for you. And again, the full release will be coming out in 2024, but it's something to keep on your radar. And if you are interested in checking out Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon, you can use the link in the description as well to go give it a look. It's a really great game, and I've been having a ton of fun with it, and I hope you guys go and check it out. It'll be linked down below, and let me know what you guys think.